This conference will now be recorded.
Got it? All right, it is Monday, May 19th at 7 p.m. This meeting of the Conservation Commission is now convened. First up, we have bills. And then right after that, we're going to follow up with the March minutes.
Is it just me? Okay, no, it is turning green. Okay. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yes, it was scrap paper.
Okay, I just
Yep.
kind of confusing. That's
The receipts are on the other side.
okay. While the bills are being passed down, did anybody see anything in the March minutes? Although as I read them, they seemed familiar, like we'd already dealt with them once before, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the March ones were on last meeting, but
Is that all it was? Okay.
or maybe you're losing your mind.
It's possible. That's kind of why I'm asking, you know. That might be why I'm,
To check.
yeah, that is entirely possible.
Shots fired. I like it.
I'm not disputing it.
I knew that. Everybody.
That's why we write everything down twice.
And record it.
Exactly. Where's this? What we like to.
Does your mileage rate based off the federal rate or no?
Technically,
Yes, but our federal rate hasn't been updated in a minute.
Yeah, because it's like,
Outdated.
yeah.
Yeah.
What, you don't know what it is, or you don't know?
No, the last time I asked about the update to the mileage reimbursement, I had asked at the end of a fiscal year, and the feds update it at the beginning of the annual year.
Yeah, they
And I
update
was-
it every January 1st.
I was told at that time, and it may have been, it wasn't the beginning of this year, it was the beginning of last year. I was told that the increase in mileage reimbursement hadn't been voted on or approved. That's where I have left it. So.
Who makes that decision?
I talked to Jill, and again, it wasn't at the beginning of this year. It was at it wasn't at it may not even have been at the beginning of last fiscal year. Yeah, I don't know that that's actually accurate. It was so long ago, I can't remember what she
So
told me.
will it go up July 1st?
Well, the feds go off of annual.
I
so
understand, but I mean, as long as you get a full year at,
I don't know. I was pretty much told that the mileage rate was not going to change at that point in time.
Was there a reason why?
I do not remember because it was a long time ago.
Is that,
remind me, and I'll make an inquiry.
All right.
Should be.
I mean, I don't mind if it's still, you
No,
know,
it should
July 1 to
be-
June 30th. I mean, you'll still get the benefit of one full year.
Yeah, I think
Because then if it goes down in January, you're still gonna be at the higher rate for another 6 months. So I mean, you'll still get the benefit of 1 year at the rate.
Yeah, I think the last time I looked it up, just within the past couple of months, it was up to 67 cents a mile. So,
Yeah, it is. I have it at home because I use it, but I don't pay attention to it because it's buried in an Excel calculator that I have.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
Okay, we have a motion. Second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The bills are paid.
Can I sign in blue?
Somebody does. And has everybody had a chance to read the March minutes?
Yes.
Did anybody see anything of concern in the March minutes?
This is really very, very picky, but, where does it say? Yeah, it says, this is halfway down, about halfway down on the first page.
Which minutes?
Again, the March minute.
I'm sorry.
So it says E. Knight asked, no, I'm sorry, it's the next sentence. E. Knight would like to see better alternatives analysis as the Conservation Commission usually does not allow any work within the 25-foot no disturb zone. My understanding is the way you stated it is that it does not usually, it just does not. So I would,
As I said, in 20-something years, I think I've only remember allowing one incursion in over 20 years. And it was like an absolute have to. So, yeah, usually it's probably a bit more frequent than I would like, but you can't absolutely say it's never happened, because it has once.
Yeah, no, we have allowed it when there is no.
When there's absolutely no
reasonable alternative around it.
okay, so leave it stand.
So, but it's very,
It's very, very rare and infrequently.
and it's usually with an existing structure that's already there, but not always.
That was the only comment I had.
I'll make a motion that we accept the March 10th commission minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we're working on April 14.
Can make a motion to accept the April 14th minutes.
Second.
Everybody in agreement with that? Anybody?
Question, I have a question as a matter of process. So for the meetings that I did not participate in, does it make sense to,
Oh, yeah, I may have to actually withdraw my motion.
yeah, does it make sense for me to make a motion on those minutes or a yay or nay?
procedurally, in the past, in other towns, for those who have not attended meetings, they typically abstain.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
I
don't
would-
know that that's necessarily how this board works. I've made that comment before. We've had discussions about it. There's been some,
I mean, I'm generally supportive of that type of process, and so I'll withdraw my motion.
I mean, I think you can make the motion to approve it, or to, yeah, I guess that gets
It's
complicated.
fine. Somebody else can.
I
pick
don't
it up. It's fine.
usually make a motion to approve something where I wasn't there.
Yeah, but then when it comes to the yay or nay, if you weren't there,
I can still vote on it.
yeah, so.
Well, it depends
I
if
mean,
you need a quorum or not.
Yeah, I mean, an abstention vote still makes a quorum. It's if you abstain that your vote doesn't count. An abstention vote would be like 6-0-1. So 6 yay, 0 nay, 1 abstain for like Will or Matt, for example. That still makes a quorum
How
of a
about-
vote.
How about 3-0-1?
Still a quorum.
I think, David, I think the question is whether you recuse yourself. If you recuse yourself, basically, you're out
Then your vote
of
doesn't
the
count.
room, and then you might have a quorum problem.
Yep, but if you abstain, your vote still counts towards the quorum.
Robert's, whatever.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah, there you go. Whoever Robert
He's a particular fellow.
was.
Everyone.
Motion or isn't it?
Well, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Matt,
So, okay, is that, everybody else all set on April 14th?
well, Matt rescinded his motion.
I make a
Oh, he did
motion,
rescind it.
He did.
I make a motion, we approve the April 14th.
I still second it.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? April 14th is accepted unanimously.
Any
Abstain.
Any abstain?
Abstaining, yeah.
One abstention.
502.
So what, you, because you weren't here, you're abstaining?
Yeah.
That's correct.
So
But we still have a quorum.
it is not necessary procedurally to abstain, just as a point of, for future reference. So long as you have gone through the minutes and found them to be in the proper format, it is generally understood that you are not approving, necessarily confirming the content, but you are approving that the fact that they're done and that they are in the proper format and that they exist. But, to each his own. But generally, it's not an issue if you vote to approve minutes when you were not here. Okay, April 28th. Anybody see anything that concerns them?
I will make a motion to accept the April 28th minutes.
Second.
Any discussion on the quorum? Excuse me. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Minutes for April 28th. Next up, we have,
Can I just suggest that we jump down to the first request for certificate of compliance for Michael Sears Road, because we have Glenn Kravoski here. So we can get him in and out.
so that looks like a number I was here for, but I don't remember it.
So we just did a new notice of intent for Michael Sears Road just last year. There was an outstanding order of conditions that required some wetlands replication that we worked into the new order. Glenn can go into it in more detail, but he did submit a request for certificate of compliance, so I figured it may be helpful to chat with him so we can get him in and out and deal with the rest of our administrative stuff afterwards.
Through the chairman,
If that's okay with you, Ed.
Yeah, that's fine.
through the chairman.
Yes,
Glenn Kowalski, EBT Environmental. Yes, back in December, we received an order, we received an order of conditions for work on this property. The road, the driveway going to the back had been completed. The replication was now on someone else's property. people that cut this lot off. We put
Oh,
it-
yeah, I
now you got-
remember now.
We put a replication on Mr. Topa's property. We talked that once that was done, now that property is encumbered or clouded, the deed is clouded with this replication area. So we're obligated through that to perform the replication area. The area that had been chosen wasn't suitable. I'd have to dig a hole another 2 to 3 feet down. I didn't have hydric soils when I went down 2.5 feet plus into this area. So we chose a new location. It's on the plan that you approved. It does have hydric soils, NYR 5242 within 12 inches. So now that other order, which is still hanging on this property, could potentially be closed out because, again, the new order covers the replication area. It was briefly discussed that we were going to go that route. In fact, somebody else said, well, to put a replication on somebody else's property, which is no longer part of the one parcel, it would be tough beyond that point. We don't have hydric soil. That's a very headwater wetland when you first come down into the site on the right. It was actually, the plan was created by Spring Environmental Consultants back in 06. And where it had been shown, we augured the soil, we looked down, familiar with soils, 8 years at UNH, so just on soils. So we, again, somebody else's property, would have to have a hole in the ground, and it wouldn't be directly abutting the existing wetland, which I don't agree on that line, but the point is, we'd have to go deep in order to get hydric soils to be within 1 foot of the final grade, which is one of the requirements under that 1055 4B 1 through 7, or 1 through 7. So again, we did move it. If you might recall, I'm sorry I don't have these here with me. So the original plan in 06, replication area coming down the driveway from Michael Sears would be on the right, then the wetland, and then they open up into a house with a septic back then. This gentleman did not want to take on the project to re-permit something there. Existing grades out of Douglas and Dennis took it on. Our plan is dated with revisions, we're dated at 11/04/24. Again, we moved the replication area down to a more substantial wetland below the house. So before it was up here, as we come across, now there's a house and septic, and we have actually an access road to get in there, and I did auger the soils, and we have multiple soils on this plan, and we will be, again, having hydrology to drive the well.
So the replication has been done?
No, it's now encumbered, his deed is now encumbered or clouded to perform the order. If there was no other order out there, we might have to find a different mechanism to, you'd have to go to the owners that did the original cut up, ask them to allow us to replicate, and again, the replication wouldn't work unless you had I just had one in Hopkinton where somebody had designed the replication, and when Hopkinton asked me to look at it, in order to find hydric soil, I went down 3.5 feet in a shallow cut. So it was not a functional area. We moved that. This is one that was moved because it would be a functional wetland associated with a wetland that's more substantial right below the house. So we're asking for a certificate. If it isn't given, I suppose we can wait. You can, of course, you're the board commission. We could wait till the replication is completed under this new order of conditions, December 24, and then ask to close both of them out at this time. There actually is no harm in that to us because we're not going anywhere. He's not going to build this, start on the house itself until 26. So we could wait the year, do the replication down there, ask for a closeout of both orders. If that's what the commission wants, well, then that's what we're going to do.
So
We did include the requirements for the replication area, including the change of location, in the new order of conditions that was issued in December. So I feel like this is almost procedural or administrative.
Is this Is the order we're looking at, is it still valid? Is it
It's expired.
It's expired?
Yeah.
He said 06.
06.
Yeah, I know, but they could have asked for extensions and gotten extensions.
There was maybe one extension that was issued, but that was well expired.
And everything in that original order of conditions is in the new order of conditions. I mean, it's built into it, the notice of intent.
It is, correct.
I move we issue an order, certificate of compliance.
Second.
So if I may ask, so we're closing out an old order of conditions? Is that what we're doing? And we have a new order of conditions?
Correct.
For the same property, basically?
Wait a minute,
Sort of.
was the driveway installed?
The driveway was installed.
And
The original replication area was for the driveway installation. The replication area was associated with that driveway. Since then, the property had been subdivided. So what was originally permitted
Not
for
even
the
on the
replication
property?
area is no longer on the current subject property.
You can't build it the way it is.
So, and as Glenn had said, that replication area wasn't going to work anyways. So now that replication area that was originally required for the driveway crossing has been incorporated into the new residential development project in a way better location where it's actually going to work and it's actually going to be built. More or less.
You know, why are you asking for it now? Well, it
Because
actually,
through the chairman, because there's no actual benefit to the client or to anybody to just leave the order open, but we can.
no, but it also affects the abutting property. It's an encumbrance on the abutting property.
It was their property and they cut it up and they put the replication on the piece that they retained. But that still encumbers us though. But again, we can wait
So-
a year or two.
I mean, I don't have any.
So
problem with
basically,
it.
getting this COC actually benefits the other property owner as well.
It does too, and it's one more procedure that
cleaner.
we don't have to think about in the
Right,
future,
right.
because we're already clouded by making this replication. I'll be overseeing it. Again, I'm not a big deal. but
Okay.
I do Pembroke, I'm up in, today I got Brookline calls, I'm in Amherst, I'm doing a replication at Greenleaves. So this is what I do, I do everything, including replication and restoration.
I know you.
Okay? I've been heard. And that's what they said when I was in Haverhill. They had my name. I've been doing it since '86, so the name is out there for quite a bit.
Only 86?
Well, I started in the reg in '79.
Yeah. I was with IEP.
Oh, yes, of course. Could I just say, if you would? IEP, the $15,000 study for the salt contamination coming from 395 was pushed by Dennis Powers, and we had IEP do that study to prove that we were approaching the 20 milligrams per liter sodium levels at the well, and it was because of the salt storage ban. I worked hard against Mass Highway at the time, whenever that was, 84, 85.
Anyway,
Yeah, in fact, that brook is the brook I study, and I just did a major workshop on that Wellington Brook.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
we had it.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank
Your
you.
COC is issued
Thank you.
unanimously.
Good being here. Thank you. Back to Oxford.
Thanks, Glenn.
On another violation we worked on all over the weekend. And hey, they just don't go away.
They don't.
You can't, as much as you educate people, what the heck? A third of my work seems to be violations. Thank you
That's the
again. We
truth.
need to educate the public a little bit more. Even in 2025, I say to my people, if I could, this is not 1982 or 1985. You don't know by now, in 2025, it's still a lot of people have not. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
All right, we are now back to Lake Metacomet.
So this agenda item is relevant but somewhat outdated. So the consultant did do an inspection on April 22nd for the purpose of doing an herbicide treatment at Lake Metacomet. At the time, they did not find any reason to apply herbicides to Lake Metacomet at that time because the growth of milfoil wasn't substantial enough. But I did just get a notice from the consultant dated May 7th that the consultant did do an herbicide treatment using sonar to control target nuisance and invasive plant growth, as the amount of milfoil was sufficiently, it had grown sufficiently enough to be effectively treated by herbicides. So I do have the report here, the field note summary, if you guys want to look through it, but that's essentially the summary of it. And a bump application of herbicides is scheduled in 3 to 4 weeks in order to maintain specific fluoridone or sonar concentrations. So that is that.
Next up, Lake Arcadia, Lake Holland extension. Basically, my understanding is we're going to try to get all the orders of condition in sync.
So here's the thing, is that I do believe that, I'm not sure, but I do believe that the CPC has approved the Lakes Committee's application for funding to treat Lake Arcadia and Lake Holland with herbicides for the next fiscal year. Approved them for funding. So the Lakes Committee already had funding to treat Lake Metacomet. So the application they submitted was for funding to treat all 3 lakes next year. Due to the 2 recent permit tolling acts,
In November.
hold on. So Lake Holland is actually good until 2027. So I guess it's really Lake Arcadia due to the recent COVID tolling. Lake Arcadia's permit is going to expire in 8/24/2025. So I guess Lake Holland, again, is good until 2027. Lake Metacomet is good until, wait, this email is confusing.
The whole point of this was to get the 3 orders in sync, so they all roll the same year.
Well, yes, but because of the COVID tolling and the recent permit tolling that just was issued in November of last year, like Arcadia's permit was expired. Now it is eligible for, it is still active until August 24th of this year. So the question I asked for the board for Lake Arcadia is, do we issue them a 1-year extension so that we can allow, well, or a 2-year,
So you got one of them,
3-year.
you got one of them expiring in 27.
I have Holland is good until 27. Metacomet is also good until 27. I don't have that.
So
email
if we
in
give
front
it
of
2
me.
years, then they'll all expire in 27.
Yeah, so
That's the plan.
But again, I know that the whole point, we were going to have new notices written and have new orders of conditions issued, so that, because they were originally written in 08, except for 2 of them were rewritten in 2016. One of them was withdrawn. So, yeah, the permit tolling makes my head spin, so I apologize that I don't have all the dates.
So
It's a nightmare.
So
But
basically,
Metacomet and Holland are both good until 27. It's Arcadia that's expiring this year. So the question is, I mean, my thought was to just do a year extension to allow them to get through the aquatic vegetation management for next year. And I already started working on new NOIs. So
if we put it through August of next year, yes, you get through next year, and then we can do all three on a single NOI.
well, they would all be different NOIs. But again, Holland is going to be good until 2027. And I believe Metacomet's also going to be good until 2027.
When in 27?
Valid through 5/19/2027.
So that will need to be renewed before 27.
Yeah, so 2 out of the 3 are valid until 2027. If we did a 2-year extension for Arcadia, then all 3 would expire in 2027.
Well, but you still, you're going to have to get Metacomet and Holland with new NOIs to complete the season in 27.
Yes. Yep. I already started working on the Holland one.
If we just do 1 year, that'll take you through the treatment season next year, and then you'll pick up all 3 lakes when you do it in the spring of 27.
Yeah, so, well, do we just extend Lake Arcadia through to 2027?
Or you send Arcadia to 27, and we give, if there is such a thing, a 6-month extension on the other 2, and then you can redo all 3 in the fall.
You can have them open and redo them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, actually, it's two orders on the same work.
Well, so, I mean, this was a question.
Either way, the goal here is to get them all in sync.
All in sync.
I would do the Arcadia to 27 as well. And then do your new orders of conditions.
Then you can do new orders, and we extend the other ones for a bit, and then you can just
Do we need new orders, or can we just extend them again?
Well, the sense that I got from the board when I first started is y'all wanted new NOIs for all 3 lakes because they were all originally written in 2008. So that's why I started writing new notices.
So at that point, we'll have been running 19 years on the same NOI.
Yeah. So, and
Good
with
things last.
with the aquatic management program that's going to happen for all 3 lakes, we're going to have updated field data, updated mapping, everything that will be helpful for a new NOI. So the only permit that I'll put on, an upcoming agenda for an extension to 2027 will be for Arcadia. Even if the dates even if they all don't expire on the same date, if it's the same year, then we can keep track of them. Okay. So I'll get that on it.
And the new notices of intent, all 3 will be done at the same time.
Yes.
They will have the same start date, the same end date.
Yep. And again, I did start working on the Holland one, and then I realized, I was like, oh, geez, we have another permit extension act or permit tolling act that came into play. So I asked Mark Stinson to help me crunch the numbers because it makes my brain hurt. So he did it for me.
Well, the more recent one is easier than the original one.
Yeah. So, okay.
We're going to come back to Jason's Way in a few minutes. 122 Federal.
Excuse me. This is a site plan review. I only have one copy of the plan. These folks are looking to, it's the gas station out on Route 9.
Soon? No.
It's
The Sunoco, yeah.
Oh, the Sunoco.
So wait a minute.
They're requesting the ability to park up to 5 cars on the existing pavement for sale. But they want to park them right next to this wetland that's right here. So I figured I'd bring it to the board. Again, it's a site plan review, so I don't have more than one copy of the plan. I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were.
Damn near up to the wetland edge.
Well, yeah, I
It's-
mean,
it's-
So they don't even have, do they have anything through planning board or ZBA?
this is the planning board application. It's the site plan application.
Okay. So we have no feedback from them if they're even gonna allow it.
I mean, I did mention to Doug that like my concern is about fluid leak next, discharge next to this
I
wetlands.
think it goes to the catch basin though, doesn't it?
There is a catch basin over here.
There's a catch
Or a
basin,
head, no, that's a head wall.
there's a head wall there.
So what stops them from actually parking cars there now?
I don't know,
Yeah, I
that's a
mean-
planning board question.
I mean-
My question is about how the commission feels about parking cars right next to this wetland
Well,
and potential fluid
it-
leaks.
Is there a curb?
There is a curb, there is a
over
curb.
there, right?
There is, and it's built up.
There's a
Like,
mound.
There's a mound of mulch.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna go to that catch basin which goes across the street.
It does.
I mean, people can park there now.
I'm just wondering if there were any restrictions put on them originally.
I
Well,
don't think so.
you mean in the pond that they showed?
Well, I'm talking about on the site itself.
Well, this
If we or, well, probably their existence probably predates this board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine that they don't have a permit to sell cars.
Well, that's it. I know they don't.
And they're
I know they
asking-
don't.
That's what
They're
they
asking the planning board for that permit.
Motor vehicle sales is permitted by site plan approval from the
There's a
planning
mini
board.
spell.
So that's what they're looking
Right,
to
yeah.
obtain.
Right.
And so again, like my thought, why I wanted to bring it to the commission, and you guys can pass the
I know,
plan
but-
down if anybody wants to see.
So actually, we're not approving anything. We're just have comments.
Well, yeah, we can have comments. So, on the one hand, it's close to the wetland, but on the other hand, it's also a gas station, so they probably have underground infrastructure to deal with fluid leaks. But I didn't want to make
That's
that
the gas station.
determination myself. I wanted to bring it to the
There
board.
is an order of conditions on this property.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Just looking at
And
the
you have-
aerial
And I
gas
doubt it's been
station.
closed out.
Yeah, the space back here. Here's the wetland.
Because there are underground tanks there.
Oh, yeah.
in the bank.
Yeah, oh, yeah. There's all kinds of.
And they changed
cars
the
all over
tanks
the
not that
place.
long
Yeah,
ago.
I mean, there's an order of conditions on that.
Yeah, I'm almost
I'm
positive
not
there is an
opposed to
open
it. I
order
think
there.
what Sarah's asking is, do we have
Okay.
any real environmental
While
issues
that's
here?
going around, people looking at it, we got Summerhill herbicide.
More than usual.
I guess if the question is.
There was some
those
question
cars.
about what herbicide they were gonna use, or gonna try to use.
Yeah, you guys wanted to know. Sorry, I'm not done writing this down.
So
Well,
we
I
gonna,
guess.
are we gonna
comment-
send any comments over to the planning board?
Well, that's,
Yeah, comment number 1, open order of conditions for the property. There was a comment about a large curb with a berm. Is that necessary? Like, I feel
well,
like
that's
the
just for
only-
our own information, as to
Yeah.
what's separating.
That's existing.
Well, yeah,
That
but I feel
prevents
like the
issue.
only relevant comment is like, is there an open order of conditions?
That's sure.
Well, yes, so,
Well,
And probably a COC has not been obtained, or even a partial or anything of that nature.
We can't put any recommendations about doing anything to that catch basin out in the street, because that's.
We don't own it.
It's state.
yeah.
I know, we went through that whole thing, we were trying to get improvements earlier, and we didn't, we were trying to get, because they extended the culvert across the street down that brook.
Don't I-
And we had work on the head wall that's there to clean it up, to get it to work properly, and I'm not sure, if Doug can answer this question much better than I can, but is that functioning the way it should be?
Mostly, yeah.
So, wait a minute, don't I recall last fall, last summer, didn't they come in here looking to repave that whole thing again? No, Route 9.
Oh, yeah.
So if we wanted any changes to that catch basin, now would be the time to be looking for it.
Well, they
I also
did it.
don't think it's state.
Huh?
It's not state.
Huh?
Individual.
Well, the catch basin's out in the road.
It's a 3 segmented catch basin pipe. And so the state owns 2 sections, not the actual.
Of the intake. I know I'm talking the intake, but the catch basin is state.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The
The
intake
intake
is,
is owned by them.
What are you saying? I'm not following.
well, I mean, one recommendation that I would have in this situation is put in order some catch basin repairs that is, or even what do you call it, the mechanism.
Oil water separator?
Yeah, well, that and also septic tank and I can't remember the name of it. We use them all the time in cat.
So-
Stop and Shop has them.
So if they're getting ready to do
But
Route
we-
9,
But
so
the thing
they-
is Route
then the road
9,
would, this would be ripe for improvement.
Route 9, they weren't doing any of the drainage. They were just
Yeah, but
doing-
my point is, if they're getting ready to pave Route 9, if you're going to get it worked on, why don't we make it a condition of the property owner to improve that one?
He can't.
Why?
It's state owned.
He would pay for it and the state would do it for their own,
That would be great.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're
You know, if they're getting, they don't like to do work after it's paved, so if they're getting ready to pave it, if they're getting ready to pave it in the next 12 months or 14 months, whatever, now's the time to make it a condition, have the gas station pay for the work. Why would the state object if somebody else is footing the bill, they might be willing to improve it. It is a gas station, let's face it, if we have a gas spill in there, somebody dumps a 20-gallon gas tank on the ground, where's it gonna go? It's gonna go right in that thing.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect place to put an upgrade in. Just my 2 cents. Maybe there's still some reason it can't be done, but it's certainly something I think I'd like to see investigated.
We can put it in there as a recommendation.
Is there any flaws in my thought process here?
Just that,
I think it's good.
Still have the applicant pay for it, but, if it's the state's, he can pay the state to do this as a requirement of his request. Anyway, okay, and where did we get with the Springfield, the herbicide? Are we still working on something else?
They plan to apply RM43 vegetation management with an electric backpack sprayer. They'd be treating the physical plant material, this style application and equipment. There are very minimal drift and low liquid volume. As always, a conscious pesticide applicator, we are aiming for ideal weather conditions, no rain or strong winds. As like most herbicides, RM43 works best when followed by full sun, so we would typically aim for preferably a couple days of good weather.
Yeah, okay.
So their main line of focus is on insect disease and insect and disease control and fertilization of trees and shrubs.
we weren't doing insects.
Uh,
We were doing
that's-
herbicide.
Which is what that
That's
company
just
does
what
now.
they do. Like they're not treating for insects. They're like
What,
that's
you got some letter from the applicator?
This is an email that was forwarded to me from the
Okay,
applicator.
okay. So
I
the
don't know.
relevant part here is the RM43 with a backpack.
Exactly.
What is on-
Treating the physical
I don't know, I'll
plant
have to look it
material in good weather, no wind, no rain.
I'm not familiar with it, I'll have to.
I don't know what
It's
RM43 is.
like the
Yeah.
state has it for-
I do not.
Okay,
So it's like Roundup?
skipping ahead again. Town Beach Road.
I was curious.
Did we talk about Jason's Way and Willow Lane?
No, I said we're going back to that.
Oh, okay. This is a request for an extension of the permit for Town Beach Road.
don't remember a permit.
I do.
Yep.
How long ago?
No, not the town,
2019.
the town beach.
The address says Town Beach Road.
And
So it's for the town itself, for the DPW?
Yeah.
It is the DPW
I don't remember this.
application.
Well, there was a whole application for,
Or was this the boat ramp?
yeah, the boat ramp and all around there.
Okay, it's the boat ramp, I remember, okay.
I can't find the entire file, so I can't tell you.
Well, that
But-
comes at a
Well,
time
Mark
when,
Stinson had them mail it to me.
It's been requested, permit tolling be damned, so we're going for a 3-year
are you sure it even
extension.
got uploaded into the system? I'm
sure.
not.
19.
Oh, wait, there needs to be a vote on it, though.
I move we issue a 3-year extension on this one.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, and I had already signed it, so it was good anyway. COC for Northeast Treaters.
I
Actually, no, that's an older one, 91, just Old Springfield Road.
both of those.
Both of those are,
for Northeast Treaters. I do
Okay.
not have our COCs for them. I was hoping that I would. I do not. So those, I recommend taking no action. I also found a third one out in the ether. So
a third NOI?
yeah, a third order of conditions
Oh, wow.
for Northeast Treaters. So
There's one for the,
I know, I've seen the files. I don't have the COCs for them.
I know, but the third one, is that for the solar facility?
I don't believe so.
It was,
There's one from 85, one from 93, one from 96. None of those could be solar.
yeah.
Yep.
The solar, and solar was actually on the abutting property, but they used it.
Okay, so next up, we have a partial for 111 Daniel Shays, number 30. Pretty standard.
I move we issue a partial certificate.
We have a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain. One abstention.
Next up, we have an ANR for 240 Munsell. I think we looked at this last week, too, or last meeting.
We didn't.
You did.
Yeah, we did.
Ed did.
Oh, I did? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Then where's
I
the
remember
full-
seeing it.
Then where's the full plan?
No, that's it. I don't know if the planning board has approved it yet.
Yeah.
This is
No,
just like a prelim.
But they
Well, it's an
typically,
A&R. I don't even
typically
think it
give
is.
us a full-size plan.
Doug
even-
just brought me that.
Well, you have to know who the
This is
applicant
just a
is, and
draft.
that's,
Yeah.
you'd have to know the
No,
applicant.
the planning board denied this
Rich
at their
Berry.
meeting last week. So where's the
Michael
full-size
Sears,
plan?
formerly of Michael's here.
We got this draft. If the planning board denied it, we don't even need to
Munsell.
look at this.
Yeah,
Or just
Farmer's
like
Place,
that.
except what he's cutting out is way past Farmers.
Oh, out there.
Yeah, so
So we don't have a full-size plan of this.
technically there might be an access problem, but that's not our problem.
Well,
Munsell.
I think that planning board denied this last week.
This is just a draft.
It's, no, they straight up denied
So,
it.
No,
so,
this plan itself, May 2nd, this is just a draft. This is before it went to the planning board.
so,
Yeah, but
In any
like,
case,
if it went to planning board last
standard
week,
letter.
we should have gotten, well,
Yeah.
no,
This is
but
before that.
they, even if it was May 2nd, if it went before the planning board, we should have had a copy.
What's the
But
status
it's,
of
what
that?
it
What's the
is
status?
essentially an illusory access created. They're trying to, they've created their own hardship
yes, so,
over wetlands because they cannot use the discontinued road that is Munsell Street.
It is discontinued.
yes.
Yeah,
It's been-
the only entities that had access on the old discontinued road was Coles. So, we may be getting a call from the property owners about this. From what I hear, they were not happy at last week's planning board meeting.
The
If
owner
you would
has been
like-
trying to do something with this for 15 years.
I told them the best way to go about it and, or, you know, from my perspective,
It's
so,
been to court, it's been
I know,
adjudicated,
I've read the case law.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, so
Standard letter.
Yeah, standard letter.
I don't even think it's a standard letter
Why?
because it's like same thing when.
It doesn't hurt to send the standard letter.
Well,
It covers
yeah,
us.
but also too, that makes it seem like they can use that potentially for access when they can't. They're trying to A&R and create their own hardship over wetlands,
But that,
which
the
we just
standard letter
denied
should cover
one
that.
on Gold Street. Or like we couldn't even approve it. They withdrew it on their application on Gold Street because they A&R'd their property and they wanted to cross through wetlands. This is the same situation. So sending a standard letter of an A&R that you have wetlands on your property, that makes it seem like they can use this for access when they can't.
Well,
we
the
have a-
standard letter used to say, we know there's wetlands out there. It does not mean that it is buildable or otherwise it can be developed.
It just says we wish to inform you, you may need.
You know, there may be problems.
Yeah, no, our standard letter doesn't.
It used to say that.
That's what it says.
No, our standard letter makes it seem like, oh, just so you know, you may need to file.
But we also,
I don't like.
So-
it used to say there may be wetlands out there and this may not be buildable
It's,
under the
it
regulations.
may be approvable by the planning board, but not.
It just makes sense to just hit pause on this then, so we get more.
So if you,
We
if
didn't
you,
even get a submission from the planning board.
We
That was
have
like a
no
draft.
letter, or we have no actual A&R plan from them. It's just a heads up because this may come back around.
if you have
Because the planning board
concerns.
I have no concerns. I
Well,
already know.
No, I was gonna say, if you have concerns, why don't you just send us each a copy of the standard letter and let us review it? Just see what it says. But otherwise, I'm gonna say, just send the standard letter if there's, you know, if it's the same one we've been sending for the last 20 years.
I would say it is.
I
Maybe
don't-
there's some changes.
I think I need some changes to it.
Well, then I would ask that you send it out and let us see it.
Please.
Yes, please. And now we can go back, and last thing, it should be Jason's Way.
You seen this?
Yeah, the question just came up in a meeting forever ago. Like, does anybody remember if the open space for Jason's Way and Willow Lane was supposed to come to the town?
Which, where is Jason's Way?
It's off, this is, so we're talking about everything between LaFleur and Aldrich.
Oh, right. Or if it was just supposed to stay as open space. Is that where they're are they putting a tower in there?
Not that I'm aware of.
There
The
was a
town-
tower plan somewhere in there.
Yeah.
The town is just looking to accept the roadway, and the question was, where does the open space come to the town?
Absolutely. Well, it's,
So, but keep in mind that the problem with this is that the developer went and created this open space, and it's completely landlocked
I remember
with
that.
absolutely no access, including to the town.
So why should we accept it?
Well, no, the question was it supposed to come to the town?
It probably was, but there needs to be some access.
Just the planning board would have made that ruling.
Somebody, yeah, it should be, yeah, if the planning
be
board
in the
did, it
plan.
should be in their minutes.
It should be in their decision. It should be on their plan.
Yeah, I haven't had the time to go back and look and see. But, I mean, if it's landlocked, I mean, the commission has other landlocked parcels. So that's why I'm like, could go either way. I really don't know. I guess that's not necessarily up for us to make that decision.
But it was was this an open space plan?
So,
What do you call it?
Do you guys know, is it Is it open space on the north side of Jason's Way or the south side? Like what?
I don't know.
Okay. Do we want to regroup on this one next time?
Yeah.
Or
I
what?
guess.
It's not going anywhere, trust me. They're not going to pay the taxes on it. It'll become ours eventually anyway.
Yeah, I'll try to look into it for the next meeting.
It should be, Doug should know. that
He's
answer.
the one who asked me.
What's he asking you? I mean, they did the subdivision.
Yeah.
They approved the subdivision, and if they had a requirement of open space in there to get some other variance.
Well, the
From their
open space was probably a subdivision requirement, but the open space was required no matter what. The question is
I can't find Willow.
he couldn't remember if it was supposed to come to the commission or
Willow
not.
Lane is this little spur here.
They usually typically were,
So I'm wondering-
but it seems to me that they probably went and sold an estate lot that was connected to it, and somebody didn't remember that that was our access, and they went and
Yeah,
profited from it.
I don't know. I'll touch base with Doug on it again.
Because most of all the rest of them, we have access.
Okay. I'll ask Doug again.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think so.
I we move.
When's our next meeting?
June 9th.
June 9th, okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, we have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Wait, who seconded? Oh, thanks, Doug.
Anytime.
Any opposed? We have adjourned. And thank you, Matt. I got the, not